Imagine you move from a place where you lived all your life. Imagine you move and you leave all your children and wife. Starting all over again, but no one you know is around. Well, they didn't have to imagine. They built it up from the ground. How does it sound? Not easy cause it isn't. Could have phased them, but it didn't. But the red bond, that's a winner. And they ran straight to the finish. You get to know them up close and personal. Wait, just give me a minute. Welcome to the front row. Can I get a drum roll? Intentional. We may be immigrants, but we are still intentional. We are dependable. It's just that set the bar, but still the best of all. We are intentional.
Welcome to the Intentional Immigrants Podcast. I'm happy that you're able to join us here today. Our guest for today will be Dr. Floyd Spence. Dr. Spence is from the country of Jamaica. He served in the military as a chaplain, and now he's operating his own business, Live Full Inc. Let's listen as Dr. Spence tells his story. Hi, Dr. Spence, how are you today?
Yolanda, I'm doing great, and I'm honored to be here with you just to chat about what you want to talk about.
Okay, welcome to the Intentional Immigrants Podcast, and I'm happy that you're able to take some time just to share your experience with us. All right, let's cut to the chase.
Yeah.
Bring us on your journey. Where do you reside, and how long ago did you migrate?
Alrighty, so I'm actually currently living in the GTA, Greater Toronto area. I am from the sunny island of Jamaica. Yeah, and moved from Jamaica in 2003 to sunny Jamaica to cold, icy Canada. But I'm still loving it, irrespective of how cold it is.
Okay, 2003, you said it was?
2003, yeah.
Okay. Seeing that, have you had the chance to return home?
Yeah, yes, I have. I have been more than once. I have been every year. Actually, I try to take a trip.
Oh, every year.
Yeah,
That's good. What do you miss most about Jamaica?
I miss the sunshine for sure. I miss the sunshine. I miss the beach. I miss the food to a certain extent. We can get Jamaican food here, but it's
Okay.
not the same.
It's not the same.
But
It's not the organic stuff.
it's not organic. No, not at all. And the beaches, of course, they have a few beaches nearby me. They call them beaches, but nothing compared to what is in Jamaica. So I miss that for sure.
Yeah. And you're originally from Portland, right?
Originally from Portland, it's on
So
the eastern.
you are surrounded by beaches.
Yes, exactly.
Okay. What place or activity would you recommend to someone who is visiting your country for the first time? A must see, must have, must experience.
That's a great question. There are so many places, but one in particular comes to mind, and that is the Duns River Falls.
Okay. I thought you'd recommend somewhere in Portland.
Yeah, rafting on the Rio Grande is also an amazing attraction.
Mm-hmm.
The Rio Grande River, miles in length, and you're able to just sit there on a bamboo raft and be chauffeured down the river. So that's also another amazing tourist attraction that I would recommend for sure.
Mm-hmm. Okay. What product or service do you offer?
So currently, I offer keynote speaking, leadership training, and coaching. So I coach leaders and ambitious people, achievement-oriented people for sure. So those are the three areas currently. I do some counseling as well, but my main focus these days is on keynote speaking, leadership training, and coaching.
Okay. And what gave rise to this company or this service that you offer? What was it that you saw? And what need are you trying to fill?
Well, it started out as a self-discovery.
Mm-hmm.
Try to discover myself, try to understand myself. I pursued psychology. I worked in leadership. I served in the military. And it was a journey for me trying to unleash my potential. And so I discovered that I was actually more than I thought I was. And as a result of that, I wanted to share that with other people. And so I opened up this company called Live Full Inc.
Live full.
Live Full Inc.
Okay.
Yeah. People are supposed to live full, live their best life, put your best foot forward. Just give life your best shot every single day. Hold nothing back. Just go all in or don't go at all.
Okay. Go big or go home?
Go big or go home. I like that too.
Okay. Uh, Tell us about your service in the military. What position did you serve at? I understand you were a chaplain at some point.
Yes, so I served there. I was a captain, rank of captain. My responsibility, my role was to help maintain the morale of the troops.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because morale is very important. When morale is high, people's productivity generally also goes up.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that was my role mainly, and I was a part of the team that meets quite often to look at how the soldiers in the particular unit were doing. Are they healthy? Not just physically. Physically, they had that covered because they're
Mm-hmm.
always training physically, but psychologically, emotionally, mentally, how are things going on upstairs?
Okay.
Yeah,
And how long did you do that for?
I spent 7 years,
7 years.
7 amazing years. But I actually was in a reserve.
Okay. So why did you decide to join the military?
I'm always athletic. When I was growing up, I used to play soccer. So I played semi-pro soccer,
Mm-hmm.
and I love to be engaged in physical activities.
Mm-hmm.
And that this was another opportunity to test my muscles, my metal, if you will. Plus, I was also influenced. I had a brother who served in the Jamaica Defense Force in Jamaica, and I liked what I saw. I liked the military, and I wanted to also give something back to people who serve, because I also felt that this form of service was very crucial and very critical to the country, to Canada. Uh, just to serve the country and keep people safe was very important to me, and so I wanted to give back. And what better way to give back than to serve one's country?
Yes. That's the ultimate.
Yes, it is.
Okay. You said right now you offer leadership training, coaching, right?
Leadership training,
And
coaching,
keynote
keynote
speaking.
speaking. So I speak on the topic of optimal human performance, how to be your best.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Tell us a little bit more about that one.
Yeah.
Let's
So,
let's see what tips we can get.
you know, productivity hinges heavily on performance, and performance hinges heavily on three areas. In order for you to be a high performer, which means being at your best, being at your best means there are three things you have to train. You have to train your craft, whatever skill, whatever career you're in, whatever profession you're in. You want to get good at it. You want to get so good that you stand out. Outstanding stands out. So train your craft. The
Mm-hmm.
second thing you want to do is to train your body. You want to make sure you get adequate rest. You want to take a look at your diet, make sure you're eating properly. You want to also make sure you're exercising. So that's the aspect of, as it relates to training your body. But then you want to train your mind. The
Mm-hmm.
mind is one of the most powerful forces that you have. And if the body can't go, and if the mind says, yeah, we're going, chances are you're going to go.
Okay. So you said train your craft,
Train
right?
your body, train
Train
your
your
mind.
body and train your mind. Okay. How can we train our mind?
Well, the best way to train your mind is through what we call positive self talk. Now, according to Aristotle, a thought is a conversation with yourself.
Mm-hmm.
So we're always having dialogue, inner dialogue. We're always talking with ourselves.
And
But
sometimes outer, not necessarily inner only.
yeah,
But
yeah. And so during the process of talking to yourself, having these inner dialogue, whether we're letting in information from outside through what we see, the visual, or what other people told us, and that's why we have inner conflict with ourselves and what we want to do, because at the very subconscious level, which accounts for 95% of the mind's capacity, is our belief system. We are conditioned to think a certain way, and so in order for us to change that way of thinking, we now have to use positive self-talk through the conscious mind, which accounts for 5% of the mind's capacity, and now change and reprogram the subconscious mind. Did I
and
lose
the
you?
subconscious accounts for what percentage?
95%.
Okay, then.
So majority of the time, whatever you're doing, you're actually, the subconscious mind is actually in the driver's seat running the show. And the subconscious mind is where we have our belief system,
Yes.
our values.
Yes.
The conscious mind is where we have willpower and and decision making powers.
And that accounts for 5%?
Just 5%. So if you think about driving a car, that's the
Yeah.
subconscious mind kicking in. So you're driving, you're not even thinking about where you're going.
Mm-hmm.
Subconscious mind. If you
Until
think,
you're lost.
pardon, if you're
Uh,
lost,
until you're lost.
until you're lost, you
Or
got
you
it.
drive past your home.
You got it. You got it. Learn a new skill, that's the conscious mind.
Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting. Very, very interesting. How long has the business been in operation?
I have been in operation officially since 2012. It's when I registered.
Almost 10 years.
Yeah, I registered a company, but I have been functioning in this capacity since 2000.
Okay.
So I've been sharing and motivating and teaching and training people within the context of these concepts from
Okay.
then.
Okay. So while you were in the army or in the military, were you able to, was this like a side hustle for you?
Yes, it was.
Or, okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
it was.
Cool. Share an experience that blew you away in terms of the impact of your service.
Amazing. You know, Yolanda, there are so many experiences, but one comes to mind. I was working with a gentleman who had a business, and the business wasn't doing so well. So he hired me to speak to and help him through some mindset issues, that inner game again.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And after we were able to take a look at his mindset, his way of thinking, we discovered that his way of thinking was really sabotaging his progress and his success.
Really?
Yeah, yeah. A lot of people, they are equipped with a lot of tools. They have the competence in their field. They're trained. They're university graduate, or they've gone and done some skills. Even athletes, they have the body, they have the physique, they know what to do. But when it's game day, when it's time to perform, they can't. When it's time to produce, they get anxious, they become afraid, and they end up becoming incapacitated just by their thinking. So working with this gentleman, I was able to get him out of his own way and open up for him and show him, let him become aware of his thinking. I call it his stinking thinking.
Thinking.
And as a result, I was able to move him from there to a much more productive place. And at the end of 6 months, he told me that his business had grown by over 100%.
By over 100%?
Yeah. As a result of that, yeah.
Okay, that's good.
Just a shift in the mindset.
Just a shift. Share a difficulty and the lessons learned as a result of that experience.
Well, lessons learned from that is simply this: people can do more than what they think they are capable of doing. You know, as the Scotiabank slogan says, "You're richer than you think."
Okay.
Yeah, and people have untapped potential. They are smarter than they think. They can do more than they think. They can be more than they think. And the biggest challenge is to get people to get out of their own way. A lot of people are scared of taking risks, and a lot of people are scared, especially of failing. But success is all about managing failure. If you can manage failure well, then you will succeed well.
Okay. Okay. What's your personal philosophy or mantra?
Amazing. So, personal philosophy: greatness is doable.
Greatness is doable.
Yeah. In other words, what one man can do, what one man has done, another man can do.
Okay. Greatness can be duplicated.
It can be duplicated. And
Okay.
even if others haven't done it yet, you can do it, because according to Nelson Mandela, it's always impossible until someone does it.
That's true.
Yeah.
That's true.
So greatness is doable. Don't put limits on yourself, in essence.
Okay. Okay. Share a morning routine or ritual which has helped you well.
Great. Yeah. So, and this is part of the things that I also teach my clients, that morning rituals are critical. If you can win the first hour of the day, you're going to win the day. So, morning rituals for me,
Mm-hmm.
in the first hour, I do five things, and then maybe six, but five things. Number one, at when I get up at 5 o'clock, I meditate.
Mm-hmm.
One. Number two, I express gratitude.
Mm-hmm.
Number three, I I visualize. I visualize. I hold a picture in my mind of what I want to accomplish during the course of the day, or a vision of my goals. Hold
Okay.
those in my mind. Visualize them. Engage all my senses. See them happening. Go there. Feel it. Walk into it. And then after visualization, then my next step is to journal. So I would write something down, and after writing it down, that helps me to go back later on and reread it,
Mm-hmm.
just to keep track of where I'm at, and what has that done for me, and I exercise.
Okay. And that all of that takes an hour. What's the time limit for each activity?
Well, the exercise takes a little longer. So the meditation may go anywhere from 5 to 10 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So you meditate, and then gratitude. Gratitude doesn't take long, so I express gratitude for two things in the past, and one thing that I'm anticipating.
Okay.
And then the visualization, that doesn't take long either. It all depends on what you're looking for.
Mm-hmm.
So visualize, and then I read something.
Mm-hmm.
The reading may take about half an hour, or something inspirational or motivational.
Okay.
And then I journal. And then, so those are the five things. And number six would be the exercise, which generally I go for 60 minutes.
60 minutes, like
Yeah,
60?
6-0. So the exercise is really number six, but I don't put it as a part of the five, but I call it my top five things that I do
Mm.
as a way of priming my mind. That is the training the mind component.
Okay. Okay.
The
Cool.
exercise comes afterwards, which is about training the body.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Recommend a must-read book. So that's a book that you have read or are reading, which has helped you well. You can
Yeah.
recommend more than one. So,
Yeah. Two books that I think everybody should read.
mhm,
Number one is Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill.
mhm.
Success Leaves Clues. And Napoleon Hill, he has done some research on some of the most successful people in history, compiled that together, and that serves as a manual, if you will, for success. That you could read that, you can learn a lot.
Okay.
The second book is called Psycho Cybernetics.
Cybernetics.
Yes,
Tell
it's
us.
yeah,
Tell us
it's
a
written
bit
by
about that one.
yeah, it's written by Maxwell Maltz,
Mm-hmm.
and it talks about the mind and how powerful the mind is. That the mind is pretty much the the inner force that directs the direction we go. You are what you think about, pretty much.
Mm-hmm.
And if you could change and switch and make a shift in how you think, you'll make a shift in your success.
Okay.
Yeah. So those are two must reads that I would recommend for sure.
Okay. How can my listeners make contact with you?
Great. Yeah, and I would be delighted to receive calls or emails, of course, from your listeners. I can be reached via email at info@floydspence.com. That's info@floydspence.com. Or they can visit my website, www.floydspence.com. That's www.floydspence.com.
Dr. Spence, it's wonderful having you on the podcast this morning. Before you go, one last thing.
Okay.
What are some tips that you would have for immigrants, persons who are just coming into a new country? It doesn't have to be Canada, anywhere else. As a fellow immigrant yourself, what are some steps or strategies you think they can utilize to make their journey a little bit more less hassle?
Be prepared to face obstacles.
Mm-hmm.
Accept life for what it is. It is difficult. Life is 90%, 10% rather, of what happens to you, 90% of how you respond. And as an immigrant, you're going to have to learn to adapt, make new friends, develop new skills. You may have to even go back to school
Mm-hmm.
and retool. But keep your eyes focused on your dream, your goals, your aspiration, and try to keep in your mind the reason you immigrated in the first place. When you get discouraged, think about that. And remember that others have gone this way, they have made it, and if they have done it, you can do it as well.
Okay.
All
Thank
right. The
you.
sky's the limit. And as a matter of fact, don't tell me the sky's the limit when there are footprints on the moon. If you have arrived on the shores in a foreign land, don't expect it to be easy. You've got to work your butt off. You've got to put in the work. You've got to train your mind because you're going to experience difficulties, challenges, obstacles. But don't allow those things to stop you and deter you. Let them be stepping stones to be better.
Okay. All right. Thank you very much, Dr. Spence. It's great having you on the podcast today. Thank
My
you.
pleasure. Anytime, Helander.
All right. Thanks. Thank you to the following persons and websites who made this podcast possible. Dr. Floyd Spence of Live Full Inc. Xavier Anderson for providing music. The Intentional Immigrants podcast can be found on Google Podcast, Podbean, Spotify, and YouTube. please like, share, and subscribe. You may also visit our website, intentionalimmigrants.com. That's intentionalimmigrants.com. Until next time, I'm your host, Yolanda Jack, reminding you, he who watches the wind will not sow. He who watches the clouds will not reap. Ecclesiastes 11, verse 4. You were born for greatness. Step out into your greatness so that mankind can benefit from you being here. So long, until next time.
Intentional. We may be immigrants, but we are still intentional. We are dependable. It's just that set the bar, but still the best